Question Q3. What is the Max-Q learning system? Now, as stated before, these instructions assume that you're going to use every tool at your disposal to prepare for your license exam. So here's some steps to help you do that. Step number one, the first thing you must do is determine a worthy goal. In this case, our goal is to pass the license exam on the very first try so that you can become a successful agent and launch your insurance career. Step two, you need to know from the start that you need to develop the internal conviction to pursue this with everything you've got. You got to commit the time and the mental energy necessary to learn an entire new industry. You need to know going in that any subject in the world can be mastered if you are willing to put in the work to do so. Step number three, you must establish a detailed plan. We have already done that for you. Just follow the Max-Q learning system and the tracking sheets in the beginning part of your text, and you will be fine. Just follow that sequence of steps, which is very prescribed for you. Very key is step number four. When you are learning this material, you must create the proper learning environment. This means it must be free of distractions, well lit, and oriented for focused concentration. This means studying in Starbucks is not an acceptable way to learn this material. It's best to do it isolated from all distractions. Generally in a classroom type desk and comfortable chair arrangement is best. It's, by the way, better to avoid futons and beanbag chairs and that kind of stuff. Why? Because they make you too comfortable. You need to make sure you have the proper materials. That would be a laptop with an adequate Wi-Fi and good video streaming capabilities. You need to make sure you have a good environment. I recommend over-the-ear headphones because they eliminate background noise distraction. You'll also need a black pen, and I recommend one color highlighter. Yellow, green, or blue, doesn't matter. Choose one, stick with one color highlighter. You'll be using it, but not as much as you might think. You also need to have a great mental attitude. That means an attitude of humility. I know you're smart. It's not what I'm talking about. Understand you're learning a whole new industry, so approach it with humility. Follow the instructions that we give you to do. Even if you don't understand why we're telling you to do something, do it anyway. We have a lot of experience doing this. Next, you need to use all the study materials we give you. That means the online course, it means the printed text. Now, I realize some of you may be using an ebook instead of a printed text, and that's fine. Also, we make available to you an audiobook recording of the text, which you can use when you're traveling around, driving, subway riding, whatever, to just reinforce everything that's covered in the course. And of course, you've already received your username and password to get in to this material. Step 5, you're going to need to take specific action. This means to follow the instructions we've given you, to skim read each section before you watch it on the video, to use that Max-Q learning system tracking sheet in your text. You're going to watch the section in the online course and read along in the text while you do that. There will be some bolded terms that will show up on the screen. You need to highlight in your text the very same bolded words that show up on your screen. Do not paint the whole paragraph, just highlight the bolded phrases. The reason we do this is so that when you are doing your review in the text, those bolded terms will pop off the page, so to speak. Just like when you have a shopping list at the grocery store, you just want to know the key thing that you're looking for. You'll then place your initials in the column on the Max-Q tracking sheet. Then after you do that, you'll then go back and skim read the entire section again, focusing on those highlighted, bolded terms. And you'll place your initials in the tracking sheet again. Along the way, you'll need to do step 6, which is to measure your progress objectively. Specifically, what we mean here is what are you learning along the way? So we have a series of practice questions built into the text and built into the online course. You'll take those questions, you'll grade your answers, and you'll review the explanations for those answers, making sure you fill every knowledge gap you had. By the way, a knowledge gap is you getting a question wrong. Once you do that, for that particular section, you'll put your initials in that Max-Q learning system tracking sheet again. And then step 7, you need to celebrate your successes along the way. This means that when you complete each section of the material, we recommend you do a happy dance. Now, I have way too much respect for you to have you suffer through my happy dance. However, rest assured I have one, and you should have one too. The idea here is very simple, this is a taxing process, but you will have some success along the way. You'll learn a lot. Celebrate those successes. Once you get through the entire course, I recommend strongly that you complete the online practice exams and score a score of 80% of better. When you do that on each of those exams, you will be able to go into the license exam with a high degree of confidence. Remember what we said in the very beginning. When I know the content, the exam is simple.